most important things that you could ever do. And they know. Some days I'm more wolf than woman, and I'm still learning how to stop apologizing for my wild. Welcome, wanderer of thought, to the garden of the mind, where dreams take root and seeds of awakening are sown. Here, we talk about everything from spiritual awakening, energy, astral travel, all the way to the collective energy, parenting starseeds, psychic gifts, addiction, and the human experience. What it means to truly ascend, from the magic to the mess, and how we are all navigating and alchemizing our way through it. A place where we have the space to remember who we truly are. I'm your host, Mandy Hayes. Welcome to Brain Flowers. Let's get to it.
All right. So this is another episode of Brain Flowers, and I am here with Alberto Versich.
Beautifully done.
Love saying it, just sounds so fancy. Alberto is a super incredible human being, very, very gifted in helping men, especially, but also does a whole lot of holistic work at this beautiful place called The Hive with his lovely wife, Hunter. But today we're focused on Alberto and talking about his spiritual awakening journey, his experiences that he's had. So, if you don't mind,
thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Mandy, and thank you for having me on here. It's always a good time to come on and chat and connect. So just start from
the beginning.
From the beginning, and with the lens of like my journey into spirituality.
Yeah. So like how we talked previously, like the whole point of this is to help people understand that it's not black and white, these experiences. And just because, like, if you don't see ghosts when you're a little kid doesn't mean that you're not gifted in a way of,
it comes in many forms.
Exactly,
right? It comes in many forms.
Yeah.
Okay, right on. So let me think to the beginning. Growing up as a kid, and I was definitely I was born and raised Catholic, so I was definitely filtered through that lens for like the first 17 years of my life, really. Yeah, it's a long time, but there was some fractures along the way for sure. And so I was exposed to the Bible, I was exposed to church, going to church like at twice a week because I went to school, and we went to school in a Catholic school, and we did a school mass, and then I went to like mass with my family. And it always felt like close but not quite it for me, you know what I mean? Like I felt the essence of like what was being shared, like the teachings about love and loving your neighbor, and you know what I mean? Like that connected with me. But then there was like the reality of being around these people and knowing like how they treat each other and judge people and talk about other things, and I'm like I'm feeling a disconnect here. So early on, I think my like spirituality was just gathering information, you know what I mean, and just like experiencing my reality and not fully understanding things, but always being like I always felt like I knew there was something bigger, there was something greater. Like this human stuff is just that. It's like human stuff, and there's another part of us, like our soul, that is just so big and connected to deep wisdom, And so I didn't see things, like I didn't really see ghosts or energy, you know what I mean? I didn't see that kind of developed more. It's developed more in my life now. But I didn't hear things either. I didn't hear anything. I didn't really see anything, but my mind and my imagination were always very active, very open. And I would say that would be like the way that I expressed like my spirituality, if you will, as a child. Like I was always creating, I was always out in nature, I was always doing things to be just like creating stories in my head. Like I was always on adventures, you know what I mean? And then, like I was telling you, I had a disconnect. I hit like a big disconnect when my father passed away and I was young, and that ripped spirituality or connection to the greater really away from me by my own choice, like by my own mental constructs.
How old were you?
I was 11. I just turned 11 when my father passed, and I didn't believe in shit. You know what I mean? I was like, there can't be a God that would do this. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, I can't get behind this. Like, it hurts so much. The pain hurts so much. I went through a period where I didn't believe in anything. Really, I would have been like considered, I would say, like atheist, even though I wouldn't call myself that. But I just didn't believe in anything anymore because I was just in that state for quite some time. But there was a thread that was always there. There was a thread that was always there, and it was my connection to him through pennies. And like the story goes, like when I was a kid, like the first time my dad was watching me and my mom just like went out to like go have some her time, you know what I mean? And I was just a baby. And he called her while she was out to dinner with some friends, and I had swallowed a penny. And he's like, I don't know what to do. What do I do about this? This baby just swallowed a penny. Do I need to like go to the hospital or what? So he called my mom, and they decided like just see what happens. Like I should just pass it, right? And I did, but there was always that. That was my start with the pennies.
It's your connection with your dad.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And he would always tease my mom too, because she would always be picking up pennies and stuff like that. And she came from like her family was super poor, you know what I mean? But it wasn't even that. She just always picked up pennies. And she's very good with money. You know what I mean? She's very good. And I think that was born out of that scarcity of growing up and being super poor and all that. And it, yeah. So there was these connections, right? And even though when I was in my like darkest times, he would come to me in the form of pennies randomly. And it was like, this is how I knew. And it was a feeling. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes you just find change and you find change. But the more I've noticed now and have experienced now, I feel and see the difference between like the energy of certain things when there's how do I explain that? Like it's a feeling like you can't miss it. It's like things that just like jump out at you, right? That's like a sign to me of like a connection to something bigger when it's like you're going and you can't miss that feather, or you know what I mean, or it's a bird that just like what's up with that bird, you know what I mean? Everybody has these experiences, and for me, like I'd see it change all the time, but there was certain pennies and certain times where I was like, that's weird, you know what I mean? Weird places, completely random. Like I'd be like in a kid doing something in like a playground or something, and then I'd be deep in the wood structure, and then there's like a penny in there. You know what I mean?
Right. Thanks, Dad.
Yep. And that continued on for a long. Well, it still happens. You know what I mean? It's never stopped.
Yeah.
And it's not always, and it's just random. So that was like my first experience in the synchronicities, right? And those things come in many shapes and sizes and forms. But that was like the thread that always kept my connection to something greater there. I knew he was there. Like it's just I knew he was there. And so yeah, so that through my dark phase, that kept me connected to something. And then I, you know, as a teenager, kind of rebelling against all the things, like I wasn't really tapped into my spirituality. I didn't care about church. I was so turned off by all that stuff. And because of my experiences with it for the last like 17 years of my life, and the shame and the judgment and all the things that I was like, this isn't the teachings that are in the Bible. This isn't like Yeshua's like real teachings. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't vibe with it.
Right.
So went through my teenage years and I started to like reconnect with my spirituality, I think, when I got connected with the spirit of cannabis.
Yeah.
And I've been working with it for over 10 years now. And it really helped me reconnect and rebalance myself in a way that like made me feel normal again, because I was super depressed. I never went to therapy. We never did any of those things.
Right.
And when I first used cannabis in high school, like I felt normal for the first time in a long time. And I was able to like laugh. Like I just remember laughing like that deep belly, like hurt laugh. Like, and I was like, wow. So there's something here.
Yeah.
There's something here.
You know, it's wild. So that just reminds me of this little story that I heard. You know, Abraham Hicks?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Or Esther Hicks, Abraham, whatever. She was talking about how she was on a plane and, you know, she was going to some seminar somewhere, right? And this group of businessmen joined the plane and they're all walking in, you know, with their briefcases and they're all frowning and they're all, you know, very business and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, they sat down and about halfway through the flight, they started ordering some drinks. And once they started drinking, by the end of the flight, they were all, hey, you know, just laughing and having a great time. And she's like, not saying that like you need to drink to make you happy, because that's absolutely not the case at all. But it's like when you are naturally at that like air quotes lower level to where you're
Sure.
just very, you know, straightforward and this is what we're doing and no
Yes.
smiling and whatever. Sometimes it takes a little bit of something to help you get to that elevated state.
Yep.
It's just sustaining that without
Without the things.
right, without the things, right? Yeah, so that's very interesting.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing to bring up, because it's like when I think of it now, like I didn't feel that connection because I was so dense. Like I was, you know, people would talk about the vibration, right? And the scale of like fear and anger versus like love and joy and gratitude, and right. And well, I think you can still tap into it either way. I think it just looks different. You know what I mean? And but I was in a dense place. I was in a dark spot and I felt like that space makes it more difficult to tap into these higher energies, right? These
Yeah.
higher, bigger than us connections. And not saying that one is better than the other, to be honest, but it's just like they all serve their purpose. I think you just get a little bit more communication when you're more open. And that's what I want to say. I was so closed off that I wasn't open to the information or the energies or whatever was trying to connect with me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's a great point to bring up. And people use all these different plant medicines to like connect to these greater than us experiences, right? And I think that's such a beautiful thing. But I think that at the same time, you got to be conscious about how you approach that, because I went in unconscious as a teenager, just figuring it all out, experimenting with everything. And while I'm really grateful for all the experiences, what I know now is that I've I get more out of anything with more intentionality and more conscious awareness around what I'm doing, respect for the plants I'm working with, respect for whatever it is I'm working with the energies, whatever it is. And I think that's such an important part of the journey of spirituality,
Absolutely.
you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So, once you started getting closer with the spirit of the marijuana plant and having that help you get you out of this denser space,
Mm-hmm.
what led you to like, I know it was a long journey from then until now, but like what kind of led you on your path to where you are now?
Wow,
You know?
yeah, that's a question.
There's a lot in there.
There's a lot in there. How do I plot the course here? From there till here. So like
We're like from not really a belief, but like kind of that little glimmer to
right,
like
a knowing,
a
like
knowing.
right,
Yeah.
right. Oh, wow. Okay, so
No pressure.
yeah, no pressure. Yeah, I think it grew like it was just a spark. You know, people always joke about cannabis being like the gateway drug, you know what I'm saying? And for me, I joke about it because it was a gateway for me, but it was a gateway to nature. It was a gateway to healing. It was a gateway to like opening up my mind to other things that help me connect to the greater. Um so gosh, from then till now, like cannabis really opened up my mind. It really helped me open up my mind. And the more that I researched and validated even the scientific things behind the scenes, that it's like the spirit and the science are one with me. And that's developed a lot as well over the last like 10 years. Like I used to think there was contradictions between religion and spirituality. The more and more I've grown and the more and more I've learned and the more and more I've experienced, it's not. It's like it is one. They're just both two different paths to understanding. You know what I mean? And they cross so much more than we even realize, and it will keep coming out more and more, the confirmations of science to spirituality.
Yeah.
And so it really cannabis opened me up, you know, and I was interested in trying other things and experiencing other things and getting more connected with nature. So I worked with cannabis and mostly, and I did have some psychedelic experiences as well, like with mushrooms and LSD. And again, it was not like the most conscious usage when you're young and you're with your friends and you're going to shows and you're partying and all that stuff. But that's a real part of my experience. And that was another opening of my mind to different energies, if you will, or different tools to connect to spirit. And when I've had some of those experiences, they were so deep and they were so just so mind opening. Like that really showed me that there's so much more that meets the eye.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like what we perceive is such a small fraction of the true spectrum of reality or energy. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody's trying to understand it. We have no fucking clue. Everybody's like, we think we do, you know what I mean? But
let me put a little label on this real
yeah,
quick.
we're getting there. We're getting there, but we still got a long ways to go, I think. But it did open me up to just such just it was like tapping back into my imagination as a child. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I can equate it to. Like a child is just there naturally. Their mind's open, they're open to receiving, they're creating without like judgments or limits. They're just here, present with it. And I think that's what people like aim to achieve when they go to like ayahuasca things and they go to these like psychedelic ceremonies and stuff like that, is like reconnecting with like our natural essence.
Absolutely. Being there in that present moment and like experiencing something beyond yourself.
Yeah.
Something powerful.
Yeah.
100%. And it's like, you know, in our day to day, there's so many things that are put in place to make it so that we can't do that.
Right. Right.
You know what I
Yup.
mean?
Yup.
So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it takes time. It takes time and it takes slowing down, which is tough these days. And it's been like it's like modeled to be that way because of just how our society is set up right now. It's tough to like slow down, and but it's necessary. It's necessary. That's what I know as my spiritual journey has progressed. Like you need to have the balance to find the spectrum of like the experiences you want. Like it's not all about just going, it's not all about just money, it's not all about a lot of these things that we put on a pedestal. But yeah, so
what got you into like doing the type of work that you do now? With like you work with people in a lot of different ways.
yeah. So yeah, like I said, the journey has been always ever unfolding. And when I worked with plants mostly for the first 5 to 6, 7 years, 5 to 6 years of my like journey into like the wellness world, I would help people. I've made products that I used on myself for like pain and inflammation. So, and I use things to help people with illnesses and stuff like that. And I saw the power of nature. You know what I mean? I saw the power of healing energy. So I've always just known that I've had healing energy. Like I just have always known that. And people are drawn to me. People tell me all kinds of shit. I don't even know you, but now you're telling me your whole like life story. You know what I'm saying? And I'm holding space for you. That's cool. Um, and so I was working really heavily in the plant medicine field, and then I met Hunter, and that changed everything. It changed everything about my life, and it deepened my spirit, my connection to all the things by, or I can't even like quantify it. You know what I mean? It's like I was at this level, and now I'm just like exposed to so many different things, and to have somebody that also experiences these things and am able to like talk about these things, because I wasn't able to talk about a lot of the experiences I was having for the first like 20 years of my life.
Yeah.
A lot of the people I knew were not there at all. Like we were all in the bar scene or the party scene, or we were kids, you know what I mean? And we didn't have language around a lot of these things. And meeting Hunter like really developed my language around things that I was experiencing. And yeah, having shared experiences with her that were like, what the heck? Like, you know what I mean? Like when we first met, we had this, we call it the dream, right?
Yeah.
And we fell asleep on a couch, and our foreheads were touching, right? And we both like astral traveled and had the same dream where we saw each other in all of these timelines, lifetimes that we've been together, and ending up in Egypt was where the last one was, like the most prominent, like original story, right? And it was just like sober as can be, you know what I'm saying? Like we just had this, and I woke up just drenched in sweat, and I like woke up and started running. Like I just started running, and she was like still like half there, like what the, where are you going? And I'm like, I just had the craziest thing. And we started talking about it. She's like, what the fuck? Like I had the same travel,
That
right?
is wild. That is so
Right,
incredible.
right. And I want to pull this back to like we've done sessions with you, we've done some amazing things, and it's come up for both of us that time, right?
Yeah.
The past life regression stuff, and it's just so interesting to have other people tap into that kind of story.
You
like
don't need validation because you guys had your own experiences.
Right.
However, it's like that outside source coming and being like, oh no, I mean, we're in a completely different session and this is what came up.
Right.
Yeah.
And Rod too, like Rod, like upon meeting me, like I think she got a reading from him, and I'd never gotten a reading, right? I've never done tarot or anything like that. And like a few months in, she's like, I'm getting a reading from Rod. Like, you want to be on it? I'm like, sure. And he was like, whoa, okay. Like, you guys are something, right? And he's like, you guys have had lifetimes together. You guys were in Egypt together. Like, it was so mind blowing to me to like experience other people, because at some point in your spiritual journey, I think you're like, it's just me, right? It's just me that's having these crazy experiences or whatever. And then you find out that no, other people do in their own ways. And sometimes you have those connections that just like are so alive that, like you said, like validate your experiences, that it's not just me. This person also feels that. Like it's really cool. So that was, like I said, Hunter exposed me to the tarot readings and more energy work and different modalities and things that I'd loved and I've heard of, but I never really explored more. And so I jumped in sound healing and energy work, and she does theta healing. So I was exposed to all these different modalities, breath work and yoga and all these different things. And I like to experience things. So I like to try them all and see kind of what works for me and what feels good and what doesn't. And I have to say, like, each thing that I've tried in each different modality, like I can feel, and I've had experiences that were really amazing in each one. Like
Yeah.
I do breath work and I teach breath work now, like after years of doing it, right? And I've had experiences that were like legit psychedelic experiences
Yeah.
on breathing. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, what the heck?
Isn't that crazy though? The first time I had ever experienced breath work, oh my god, incredible. So like I had my sister Casey, she had an old friend. He met me on Facebook, and I put a post out there about wanting to do a past life regression.
Okay.
It's like 10 years ago or whatever. And he commented, he's like, "Well, I can't do that, but I could do breath work. Would you like to do a session?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah, whatever." So he comes over. I'm laying on the bed. He's sitting on the floor, and he's breathing, and I'm following him, right?
Okay.
And dude, like my back was arching, my hands were cramping. I was like, felt like something was on my chest, and then poof, like blue and black like swirls like a tunnel, and then a big giant eyeball opening, and I'm like, I'm not on anything.
Right.
I ended up falling asleep. He left, obviously, because I fell asleep. And I woke up like I could not stop crying.
Wow.
Could not stop crying. And I messaged him like, "Is this normal?" He's like, "Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll be fine."
Yep.
Crazy.
I know. It's just, and that, it's so amazing. The body and how it's just so amazing.
And you teach that now.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So what is your, how did you get into teaching, and what is like your favorite thing to do? Like what really calls to you?
Oh, wow. That's tough to answer too. Like, I think Hunter pulled me into the teaching aspect of it too, because she said, like, within a few months of us being together or something, like, she's like, we're going to teach couples some shit. And I'm like, that's bullshit. Like, I've already got my like hemp business thing going. Like, I'm already doing this. Like, that's pretty crazy. It's not something I really imagined. And she pulled me into like doing ceremonies together. She shared some of her cacao ceremonies with me, and it was a spark to like a fire that was like just ready, waiting to be lit. You know what I mean? And it's just, it's really an honor to have been connected with Hunter, because she really is such an amazing being and such a potent fire. You know what I mean? She's such a potent fire.
Jeez.
Yeah. She'll light you up whether you like it or not. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, she pulled me into it. And to say what is my favorite, that's really tough to place. I love all the aspects of what I do for different reasons. I love to share, like, really, I love to share somatic practices, the breath work, things like that, that help calm you down, get into your body. Because I also feel like, and this is something I don't think is talked about a lot in the spiritual community, but it's like sometimes we're so up here that it's like you are not grounded at all. You know what I'm saying? And like, it's cool to be up here, but you gotta be able to,
because we're still humans.
We're still humans. Like, you gotta eat, you gotta take care of your family. You can't just like do an ayahuasca thing and then just leave everything behind. You know what I'm saying? Oh, like, but yeah, I love all of it. I love making products. I love helping people with my products. I love holding space for the men and like men's group and the coaching and stuff like that. Like, each thing has its own beautiful energy to it, and it's all different, and I'm just grateful to be able to be connected to each of these paths. You know what I mean? I love making things. I love growing things and making things with the things that I grow. You know what I mean? Or that nature has grown. I love holding space for men to like learn more about themselves and figure out like how we can be better men, because it's like innately in all of us, we all want to be better, but we're not taught a lot of this stuff when we're kids. We're not taught about like emotions really, and emotional intelligence, and like how to treat women. Like Hunter and I were just talking about that on the way over here. It's like, why aren't we taught these things? Like, why? And we just gotta figure this shit out.
It's wild. So like I was talking to Brandy about this actually a couple months ago. I was having a conversation with my grandma, and she like how when she grew up, and I hope I don't get this wrong. She grew up in like the 40s, 50s, something like that. Anyways, she's like, if you were a woman, you either had a husband and you were at home, or if you were single, you were a secretary. But then the men worked all day long and they cheated on their wives with the secretaries, you know? And that's not a cookie cutter like for every single family or whatever.
But we've all heard that,
but,
you know?
Yeah, it was like, it's a thing for that whole entire generation. And then the men, like, you know, growing up with parents who were in the war or they were in the war, and it's like, nope, you gotta, no crying. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Man up
you gotta
and
work,
do what you gotta do.
Come home, take care of your family, and that's it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So like that generation produced like our parents. And
right.
Our parents like kind of rebelled against that, but
right.
still kept the egoic tendencies, I feel, and then that created us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like this cycle that's just kind of going down the line. We're like, all right, we'll fix it. We'll fix it.
Right, you know? right.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. So I've experienced all of that. You know what I mean? I experienced having a really hard time, like, understanding what it means to be a man and, like, how do I really want to, like, treat women and, like, objectifying and sexualizing women because it's, like, just shoved down our throats. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was a part of that. Also, the shame around all that stuff. And that's some really real stuff.
Yeah.
And it should be talked about more. And I think it's really important too, because it's like, for guys to know, like, women are whole beings. Like, they are actual humans. Like, they're not just for one thing only. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we got hormones and shit, but we need to learn how to manage ourselves, how to control ourselves, and how to, like, use that energy properly.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm really passionate about that right now, because it's so alive in me. And yeah, like, I'm still healing from these things. You know what I mean? And it's cool to be trying to come, like, I'm not gonna say trying, like, it's cool to be going through my process and also have the awareness and the ability to, like, hold that space for other people to talk about these things and to just process things that maybe we've never processed before. Because that's what it is. Like, a lot of times, like, with guys, you're getting together, you're getting drunk, you're getting some beers, or you're going shooting, or what, you know, riding some bikes, playing some sports, whatever. And while I'm all about that, I love that stuff, but there's got to be some time to, like, break it down. And that scares guys a lot, because, like, we don't have that connection to, like, talking like women do. I think, like, women talk. They talk about all their feelings. They talk about all these things. Men are like, we're not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Yeah. I don't know what happened over here, but something happened. I just wanted to point that out.
Oh no. That's okay.
Okay. Yeah, whatever.
Whatever. You're here. That's fine.
Anywho. But yeah, so I really love the men's work. I really love the men's work. I think it's something that's super alive for me. I know it's going to be an ever evolving part of my journey. I know I'm in it. I know I got a lot to share. I'm still developing everything that I want to share too.
Yeah.
I love the products. I love the coaching. I love the events. I love the sound. I mean, it's hard to put one thing over the other, because I do love it all.
Yeah.
I do love it all. I love the energy of each different thing. Like, this, I've had such beautiful experiences doing sound baths with Hunter, and we had some other people that were doing them with us, and, like, wow, just people singing together. Like, each of these things are paths to connecting to spirit. And I think what I want to say about that is, like, spirituality looks different for everybody, and I think that it's so important to keep an open mind and try things. You know what I mean? It's like, why not just give it a shot and see what it is. You don't have to join a cult. You don't have to do any of that shit. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do yoga. Yep. You don't have to do yoga like 7 days a week. You know what I'm saying? Like, just try it out and see what connects. Because if you find something that has that connection, that's a sign to like maybe pay attention to that.
Absolutely.
And develop that. Because
there's something that sparks joy in the person, like when that connection is made, right? So like when I was thinking about you and the story that you told, your story, from the beginning, it feels like you're a very feeling person.
Yeah.
Very feeling person, very solar plexus, right? So like when that really traumatic event happened with your dad and you completely shut down, that's like shutting down that feeling, that connection, although there was still that little spark that was there. But the stuff that you are doing is like invoking that calm space within people and helping them get to that place of being able to sit and feel comfortable.
Right. The permission giving, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's a superpower. Good for you.
It's a vulnerable space, you know what I'm saying? Like there was a time that I didn't cry for like 10 years. You know what I mean? Feelings were shut down.
Wowzers.
Yeah. And I shed tears all the time now. You know what I mean? And it's not even because of pain, like it's beauty. Like the other day, like I was we were at the Hive, right? And two clients, they're good friends, but we're working with this woman and her daughter who's got developmental disabilities and she has seizures. And like she was having, before they moved here, she was having like 50 to 60 seizures a month. And like big ones, right? You know what I mean? And like their life was just so difficult. They couldn't, all their nervous systems were messed up. They weren't able to like do life. Like she's also growing up and wants to be more independent, right? And they moved here for the medicine, cannabis being one of them. And we got connected and I've been helping them with cannabis medicines, right? And CBD and these things that are really good for seizures and inflammation. But I've also been working with her with coaching and teaching her different practices like breathing and the breath work and ways to like naturally calm your nervous system. And she was over and I was talking to the mom and we were just like watching the daughter and she was telling me like it was like 19 days and she hasn't had a seizure. And that's like her longest streak like ever right now. And she just wants to be more independent and like you can see the growth, like the growth that's been happening. And I'm about to cry right now because it's like, that's what this is all about, right? And it's like feeling is so beautiful. Like, and let it be seen, like let the feelings be seen.
Yes.
Because it gives permission to other people to like feel that shit.
Right.
That's beautiful. Like it's beautiful to see people crying tears of joy. It's beautiful to see people crying together, grieving together. You know what I'm saying? Like we just got to change the way we're looking at it.
Exactly. Like we're not freaking robots. We are all like organic beings that live on this earth. We're animals just like every other animal.
Yeah.
Here, you know what I mean? So like yeah, all of the feelings we feel things to help guide us where we need to go or express things or move past things or whatever. And that ego and the society for sure, like
that's why we're so messed up, is because we're taught, I mean, even women too are taught not to feel as much as maybe they should. And like a society is so disconnected from their feeling, like we're making decisions not with the full picture of what's going on here, not with the full guidance that's being given to us.
Absolutely. Guys can't cry, women don't speak, be heard, be seen.
Right.
You know? Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So, for everything that you do, can you tell us how people can contact you?
Yes, absolutely. So you can contact us. Come see Hunter and I at the Hive, which is in downtown Flint right now, next to the Capitol. Our website is hiveholisticcenter.com. You can go on there and see all the things. You can see our phone numbers. Give us a call. I also have another company. It's called B&B Botanicals, which is where all like the products are. I think they're going to be merging pretty soon. But yeah, you can go there, give me a call. My number is 586-863-2025. Like, I'd rather you just like straight call me. Like, all these different like things just to like just give me a call or shoot me a text. Like, I'm a real person and I will respond. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can find us on Facebook and Instagram and all those things. But like, personally, like, I want to just have more real connections, and just give me a call. Just shoot me a text. Go to our websites. Our emails are on there too. Like, shoot us an email. Like, whatever way is comfortable for you, reach out to us. But yeah, so hiveholisticcenter.com, bnbbotanicals.com. That's all spelled out. That's my number. You got it. Yeah, that's how you can get in touch with me and see kind of what we're doing and what we're all about, and add me on Facebook or whatever, and we'd be posting on there too. But yeah, I'd rather see you and feel you and talk to you than like filtered through like social medias and stuff like that. But I get it. They serve their purpose. I'm cool with it.
Very cool. Thank you. Is there any last message that you would like to tell the people out there about spiritual awakening journey, about anything?
Yeah, so like, stop putting so much pressure on yourself to like be like or experience like anything anybody else is. Like, your journey is unique. You're exactly where you need to be. Taking the pressure off allows you to soar. Like, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? If it's weighing you down, like, oh, I haven't had this big awakening, or I haven't had this big whatever, like, your timeline is your timeline, and just focus on feeling good and enjoying your life and the things that, like you're saying, the feelings. Focus on those things and the rest will come.
I love that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Alberto.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. It's
You're
a pleasure.
welcome.
Thank you so much, my friends, for sharing your time, space, and attention. If you like what you heard, please feel free to share with your friends, like, subscribe, comment, and leave a review. As always, I offer Akashic readings, tarot readings, energy readings, Reiki sessions, and QHHT sessions. If you're interested in booking a session with me, either online or in person, please feel free to visit my website, lemonsageandlavender.com. The energy exchange of your time and attention mean the world to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And as always, I root myself in wonder. I open myself to bloom. I trust the journey of thought. Now get out there and blossom, my friend.